Hey, what's up? Hazy Ames here. Got another YouTube video, and the question of the night is, will I play Diablo 4 Season 2? And the simple answer is yes, but for how long? Season 1, I got a character to level 100. I attempted Lilith with the build that I finished level 100 with. Did not kill Uber Lilith, unfortunately. I probably could have if I would have spent more time on it, but I wanted to get into Starfield and play Starfield, as well as Counter-Strike 2. So I have been busy, but the question is, what will Season 2 bring? Do I think it's going to be good? The things I'm concerned about, the things I wish they would have done or changed or worked on. And we're gonna kind of hear from the Diablo 4 dev team here. We're gonna skip around. I'm not gonna sit here and go through 2 hours of this, but let's get into it here. Season of Blood.
The next thing I want to talk about are the mechanics, like what you're going to be doing during the season to kind of gain power and such. So we talk about the fantasy of the season is that the player is basically becoming part vampire during the course of the season of Blood, and part of that comes down to making sure that we have cool vampiric powers for players to collect and use. So what we see here is our vampiric power user interface. It's the way players are going to be able to kind of like collect a lot of powers as they're progressing through the season, and then slot them into the circular UI above. So throughout the season, players are going to be able to acquire up to 22 vampiric powers as they play, and these are designed such that they are
22 powers. 22 powers, and I only see 5 slots. But let's see if I'm misthinking.
Unlike in Season 1, where with Wellington Hearts, we had a lot of very class-specific hearts baked in. We tried to make sure that the vampiric powers that players collect in Season 2 are all class-agnostic in nature, so that there's just more combinations and things for players to select from and play with as they're thinking about their build. And yeah, so we have a few of these shown up right here. They come in a few different varieties in terms of the level of power of them, and each of them have a pack cost. Well, I will talk about it a little bit more in just a moment. But you see these pack costs listed at the bottom. Players need to acquire a certain armor pieces.
So these are essentially malignant hearts. They're just using them in a different way, and you have to acquire from the blood harvest. You just find them a different way as well.
That have these packs associated with them in order to fuel these. Again, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Why don't we actually see if we take a look at maybe a couple of these powers themselves real fast. Yeah, so here's one. So players can have a vampiric power they get as they're progressing through the season, where their evade allows them to turn to like a cloud of bats.
That actually looks pretty cool.
And it also makes them unstoppable for a few seconds after they use it at the same time. And it's a way for the player to deliver a new effect that you can get throughout the season, which is called Vampiric Curse. So when you see that red effect above a lot of the creatures that the player is fighting, they're under the effects of Vampiric Curse. And if you kill them while that effect is active on those creatures, you get to steal their souls and bind them to you for a short period of time, up to 8 of them at a time. And then when you choose to use a defensive ability on your character, you unleash all of these souls. As you can see here, these missiles, like these spirit missiles that fly out and hit lots of different creatures
cool.
as you're playing through. So it kind of gives you this opportunity as you're going through packs and dungeons or elsewhere to kind of stack these up and use them to quickly burn down groups or elites that you might have to come across as you're playing. There's other cool things you'll get, like there's abilities for based on other companion skill uses and other things where you can we have this where the bats will come down and attack your enemies. And then many other powers. We talked about there was an overpower power we showed before. There's another one here that is more focused on channeling skills. Yeah, here it is. So when you start using channeling skills, you'll be able to drop this pool of blood around you, which gives you some extra protection. It also enhances all the damage that you deal while you're nearby. So this is going to be able to fire when you're using any kind of channeling skill and enhance those channeling skills. It just gives you a bit more positional gameplay to be thinking about when you're playing into this build. So pretty fun ways for you to kind of maximize and get extra damage rather from a channeling build for a class.
Yeah, I think One of the things that's cool about the vampiric, that I like about the vampiric curse is that there are a few different ways, a few different things that can trigger it, and a few different ways to key off it. And so a lot of these vampiric powers have interactions with that curse. It kind of forms a unifying thread in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. We think it's a really cool, like, extra ability for players to play with, and being able to trigger it in different ways is very fun, we think. So the next thing I want to talk about was actually how you're able to fuel your vampiric powers, those packs I talked about before. So if you look here in the inventory screen, you'll see that that all of the armor pieces that players are collecting are going to have a set number of packs associated with them. So you see here on the items themselves, like they all have these small symbols off on the left-hand side. Yeah, or underneath them, or rather. And these represent the various packs that players can collect of the 3 different types to fuel all the vampiric powers they can collect. Because ultimately, you want to gather all your vampiric powers, you want to level them all up to level 3 to make them as strong as you can get them, and then you want to make sure that you can fuel all of those vampiric powers so you can have all 5 slotted that you really care about. And to do that, you need to make sure that you've got the right kinds of armor pieces available. The packs are only going to appear in armor, they don't appear on jewelry or on weapons, just on armor pieces. But, and I should say, every armor piece that drops during the course of the Season of Blood will always have packs associated with them as well. So you're not looking for items that are going to have. It's not rare in that way. And as the player progresses through the season, they're going to also gain these new items they're able to collect from completing various content types. We'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But these allow players to basically remove packs from items. They allow them to eject new packs into items, up to the pack limit, which is based upon the tier of content the player is playing in. So normal items have 3, and then sacred have 4, and then on to 5.
So I mean that's kind of cool. We'll kind of see how I guess it plays out. It's interesting, but we'll see how the power creep once you get into later levels affects some of these. All right, enemy families. Honestly, when I saw some of this earlier, some of these new enemies look like reskins.
So as part of Season 2, we actually added a bunch of new monsters. Lord Zier has a ton of different minions that will be all throughout the continent. First, we have here our Shadow Vampires. These guys are not your typical flavor of vampires. They have a bunch of really cool new attacks. You'll see them all over the overworld. You'll see them in a variety of dungeons.
Okay, so reskins enemies.
They're trying to stop the vampiric advances, and they have fallen victim to the blood cults and to Lord Zier's forces that way. And for those characters, now you've got vampiric sorceresses, you've got vampiric barbarians, you've got these blood seekers out there looking to kill you, the player. Oh. So as you're progressing through, you'll be dealing with enemy rogues, you'll be dealing with enemy...
That's kind of cool. I like that. So there's somebody hunting you. That's different. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Druids and necromancers as you're playing and dealing with their specific spells and kits that we've created for the season for players to interact with.
That is really cool.
And
I like that.
Honestly, finding Bloodseekers is great because these guys are just blood bags. They drop. They have a really, really good chance to drop potent blood. And potent blood is going to be the currency that you're going to be collecting through the season. They'll be able to use to basically upgrade powers that you already have, your vampiric powers, and unlock new ones that are available through the vampiric power UI.
That's cool. So that's really cool. I like that. That's nice.
So really, whenever you find Bloodseekers, you want to take them out because they are, first, they're pretty fun to fight. They're a little challenging, but they also have the ability to give you big upgrades for your
skip
vampiric
around
powers.
Here a little bit.
And they can. These are active. You'll find Lord Zier's armies marching across Sanctuary.
So this is like a zone, kind of like Hell Tides, where you go into the zone and you collect, do different things to collect vampiric items and things to get your vampiric powers upgraded, essentially.
Taking people hostage, taking them prisoner, draining them of blood, and just colors that you'll be able to use to basically bait Bloodseekers to come to you, to be able to fight packs of them as time goes on. And you're also going to be earning these vampiric keys you can use to open like prisoners cuffs, to be able to open vampiric caches and other things out in the overworld. And one of the cool all
right, here's something I'm interested in, how they're going to do the new in-game bosses.
I think I have a handy dandy chart, a very designery chart to help players understand kind of what we're talking about here. So what you see here is the way that we kind of look at the content progression of Diablo 4, the way the players are playing through the experience, the sorts of activities they engage, fight some awesome malignant creatures. No malignant hearts dropping, but malignant creatures certainly down there. And at the end of that small dungeon, you're able to go and basically throw these materials into this new brazier that we've added to be able to summon Varshan back from the dead to fight him for the special loot that he has. Now, one of the new creatures that we're adding is this the Galvanic Saint, which we'll show off some of the new art for some of these characters in just a moment. But this is a new, very lightning-themed boss that players will be able to go and engage with as they complete Helltide content. They will learn Infernal Steel from opening various caches and use this as a way, as part of a new layer, to go and summon the Galvanic Saint and deal with his lightning-themed attacks. And that's actually something that might be...
That's pretty cool. They'll bring back Duriel. That'll be fun to fight. This guy should be fun, the new guy. Where do they show him? Oh, right here.
These components up together and use that as a way to more quickly access these fights and get more chances and opportunities to get some loot off these bosses that you're looking for. But you can also trade these materials between players as well.
They look good.
So if you've got half the things you might need to summon Varshan, but you don't have the other half, you can go on trade chat and try to find the remaining components. Spend the gold necessary to maybe exchange for those things, and then go more quickly summon the bosses that you need. And also, as you collect these materials, you realize you may have overfarmed the materials that you need to summon, and you got the items you're really looking for early enough. Now you have a chance to go and take those and maybe sell those off, to make a tidy profit for yourself, so you can have an easier time enchanting items and other things as you go.
Exactly. Make friends.
Yeah, make friends for sure. Yeah.
And you said this before, but all 5 of these bosses have unique loot tables that have specific uniques on them that you can target.
That's right. So if you're looking for a particular unique item,
okay, let's check out quality of life here.
We got to hear a little bit about the bosses here. Now we do want to talk about some of the gameplay updates and some changes that are coming to Diablo 4, which is a huge list that we actually do have. So it's going to take us be prepared. We got a lot.
And so we can see, I'm going to talk about Scroll of Escape here. People are, disconnecting on purpose. You're still going to consume that item in a bucket and then be multiplicative with.
Instance now grant a bonus to experience and they persisted for death. That's cool. Experience bonuses are now multiplicative with the World Tour bonuses. Okay, that's good. Added to skip campaign to any zone. Oh, nice. You get more waypoints. Renown rewards now persist between seasons and new characters. Okay. Overworld monsters in World Tier 3 and World Tier 4 no longer trail the player's level after levels 55 and 75 respectively.
Makes these monsters on par with your level. Mm-hmm. This is based on reviewing Season 1, but it's coupled with some other changes that make sure that it does feel meaningful and powerful, and you're not just feeling like, oh, I'm just sort of playing catch up.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on.
Okay.
And
2 additional character slots
at the end of Season 1.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, towns and vendors. Yeah. So a couple things we've changed here to make towns a little more efficient, and that's really a focus of ours as we kind of move forward.
Oculus has one by
first
the
up,
Tree of
the Occultist is
Whispers.
now set up by the Tree of Whispers. We'll get to that in just a second, I think. But yeah, we've added more
stashes have been added to all small towns with waypoints. Hell yeah. Additional stashes have been added to capital cities and your important vendors. Okay. Set up shop closer to the waypoints in Kyoshis, Amber, Kid, we're doing cool. Okay. All good quality of life things. Mounts. Mounts are now less likely to get stuck or slow down unexpectedly. Improved mounts automatically jumping over. That's good. Should have been on there. Should have been in the game and release when they came out. Base mount movement speeds increased to 40%. Top speed remains unchanged. Achieving full speed when using mouse and keyboards have improved. The speed boost from spur duration increased by 50%. Using spur now breaks through barricades. Nice. Hell yeah, this also probably should have been in the game when it came out.
Nice.
Nice.
So you can see the player boosting through the barricade there. You also see the player using their dismount skill, and we have some changes related to that as well. So I mentioned the dismount combat skill.
Cooldowns. A manual dismount 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Forced dismount 30 seconds to 15 seconds. Dismount combat skill. Okay. Nightmare Dungeons quality. Ooh, yeah, let's check this out. See if they fixed how boring Nightmare Dungeons are.
We are now going to talk about some changes coming for Nightmare Dungeons.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we, Antonio, I know, can kind of take us through all our changes here.
Finally, this is what I'm here for.
This is the moment.
This is
Antonio,
what I work on. So, yeah, we have tons of changes for Nightmare Dungeons coming this season. The very first big change that we have is
nice. This should have been in there. Like, I don't know why they teleported you to the outside of the dungeon.
Teleporting to a Nightmare Dungeon from the map will take the players directly inside the dungeon instead of to the dungeon entrance. This will cut down on having the double load screens when you just want to go and play
These transitions.
more, like grind more Nightmare Dungeons and get your Paragon points up. I think this is a pretty, this will be a pretty popular change. I think this is something that people have wanted for a while, ever since we first implemented.
You're going to be okay. Like, I'm just
Events. Dungeon events. Monster density increased. NPCs no longer get one shot in later world tours. Nice, finally. Don't know why that took forever. Traps. Overall, readability has been improved. CC overall has been greatly reduced.
Enough to where you will just instantly die all the time.
Yeah, and I want to call this out so players. I want to make sure players are not confused about this. We're not just talking about CC on the traps, right?
Right. We're talking about just CC across the board from monsters. Just
Good,
in general,
thank God.
Your CC time will be decreased.
Yeah. So if I get stunned by a vampire knight, I'm going to spend less time CC'd.
Right.
Waiting, yeah.
Right. Less time CC'd and less time going back
Nightmare
and
Dungeon,
restart.
Afflictions.
That's it, though, right?
quality of life.
Oh, no, wait, there's a whole other section.
No, there's more stuff.
Oh, okay, well then sure.
You can't
Talk
have
about...
Nightmare Dungeons without the afflictions,
That's
right?
true. Talk about afflictions.
So we have a number of changes to some of our afflictions. We are constantly looking at these and evaluating player feedback.
Okay.
This also scales by the dungeon tier.
This is just the the Nightmare Dungeon afflictions things they're adding. Okay, I don't really care about those. I'll figure those out later. Nightmare Dungeon quality of life improvements.
All right. More.
Yep.
Completely removed objectives from a handful of dungeons. Just find the boss. Placed objectives on the critical path through the dungeon. Nice. Okay. I guess that's better. Sure.
To 25 minutes. They're going to be more, you'll find them more frequently as you're playing. This is great.
Nice. World boss spawns have been reduced from 6 hours to 3.5 hours. Nice! Fucking finally! Why did this take so long? You should have patched this in. People want to kill world bosses, bro, especially more often than 6 hours. Nice! And the warning timer increased from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Also something you could have just patched. Fix an issue where the world boss pin would not display at the edge of player's remap. Okay, message is broadcast to all players when world boss 15 minutes. Nice, okay. Things that should have been done a long time ago.
Right. And game activities.
Yeah, let's go. I can just keep going from here. So one of the things we found in Whisper Cache is it used to be when you got into World Tier 3 and you're starting to get your...
Okay. It's a good change. Gold reward from Whisper caches has been greatly increased. K. Experience from Whisper Health has been increased substantially. K. Loving it. Health type chests now have specific icons on the map to indicate their type. Nice. UI, quality of life improvements. These might be kind of interesting. Items can now be marked as favorite or junk in your stash or inventory. Favorite items cannot be sold or salvaged. Fucking amazing, bro. Fucking amazing. Extract. This should have been in the game on launch. Extracted aspects with the same legendary power will now be grouped together when sorted in the inventory section. Thank you. Sorting of normal FXs on items has been improved to be more consistent. Nice. What are we looking at?
And then you can see there at the bottom, we've got a text box. So you can search for keywords and other text on the item.
Hell yeah.
And this searches across all your stash tabs too. Yeah. So if you take the special options menu.
Streamer mode has been implemented. Players that wish to hide identified information such as character name or battle.net tag can now find these new settings. Oh, I don't care about that. Combat text has an added option for hiding text, vulnerable dodge, fortified. Oh, I like seeing that shit. Auto run has been added. When pressing the bound key button, the player character will continuously move. Currently facer of the mouse. Okay, nice. Gems no longer drop directly as rewards. Now players will earn gem shard materials they can use at the jeweler to craft gems. Nice. Enchantment cost has been updated. What does that mean?
That one cut to is enchantment costs overall have been reduced, but
nice. Enchantment costs reduced. Thank you.
The way that works out is that your initial enchant cost is going to be a little bit higher than it is currently for your first enchant, the first time you do it. And then the progression of the cost of that, of re-enchanting that item, is going to go up much more slowly over time. And it's not going to spike quite as quickly.
Thank you.
So players overall, it's going to be a little bit less expensive. You will find that you will no longer be having normal
crafting materials will drop in place of lower item power, normal magic, and rare equipment in World Tiers 3 and 4. Crafting materials will drop in place of lower item power, normal magic, and rare equipment. Nice, dude. That is a great fix, but they haven't mentioned anything about itemization. Maybe this will kind of help it. And this.
Normal items, making a responsive player.
In World Tiers 3 and 4, drop sacred ancestral items of greater item power potential. Nice. Normal Whisper cash rewards now provide plus 10 item power. Upgraded cash now provide plus 20 item power rewards. Okay. Helltide cash rewards now provide of plus 20 item power value.
Bosses and other things. And generally, unique items that drop from these bosses they're not going to roll the full 75 eye power range. They're much tighter across the board as you kind of step up into the more powerful bosses. So I think the eye power range for Duriel, the eye power range for Duriel is much smaller than 75. I don't remember exactly what the range is specifically for that number, but that is increased. But the uber unique items that drop from that have a chance to drop, low chance to drop, but still will certainly drop from Duriel. Those are always rolled at cap, so they're always rolled at the highest eye power possible, and all of the affixes on the uber unique also always roll at the highest values possible. So when you get an uber unique item, there's not a better version of that.
So uber uniques sound like they're a little more obtainable. That's good. So I mean, overall, I'm pretty excited for season 2. I think they've done some great changes. I think they've done some changes that should have been in the game from the start. Especially a lot of the quality of life changes and user interface changes. Those things should have been in the game from the start. The things they did with the mounts, as far as riding through barricades, and some of the other quality of life changes for mounts should have been in at launch. So I feel like these are good updates, and they are listening to the community and making some changes based off user feedback, which is good. That's a good thing. That's a good sign. Everyone who is into Diablo and into Diablo 4 should be happy about this. Like I said, I do plan to play. I like the direction it's going. We'll see how it kind of plays out when it gets released. And hopefully, people have a good time. Maybe it'll bring back some people. I like what they did with Nightmare Dungeons for the quality of life there. And I like how within this second season, there's these, I can't remember what they're called, blood hunters or something like that chase you and come after you while you're just traveling through the world. And then that's how you get some currency material to upgrade your vampiric powers. That's kind of cool, where you have an active bounty hunter hunting you down. But we'll kind of see how it plays out and go from there. Let me know if you plan on playing Diablo 4. Let me know what you think about the Season 2 updates and what they're bringing to the game. Do you think it's going to save the game? Do you think people will come back to play Season 2? And then once they hit a level 100, kind of put their character on the shelf like a lot of us did. Let me know. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. Much love. I hope you have a good night or day wherever you're at in the world. And we will see you later.